16 over 4, good luck. So we've not played before, no head-to-head score. We get black for this one, it goes e4. Opponent 1800 games of rapid. Should I stick to the carrow or risk a sustain? I'll stick to the carrow for this one. We're on 1200, not too far off 1300 now. So we'll play d5. You can pretty much pre-move that in the carrow, no matter what white does, but it's a 10-minute game, so no need to pre-move. Now, sometimes to get out of standard theory early, I do this, but the principal move is to take with a pawn, so I'll take with the pawn. Okay, he plays knight up. So knight up is also a very good move to match that there. Pawn up is good. It depends if you want to try and get your bishop out the chain or not. So I'll go steady for now with the knight and just see if he wants to bring the bishop all the way up or not. I'm just trying to watch this bishop to decide what I'm going to do with mine, whether I come out or a blockade. Because he's gone there, I'm just going to blockade. We go slow and steady, does it? So he could take and play knight, and he could just castle. He's gone after our other knight. But I need to try and avoid any tricks here. So I'm going to play pawn up. Obviously, we create a temporary pin, but we're going to try and break the pin the following move. And then eventually we'll try and get the bishop into the play outside the pawns somehow, somewhere. Unless we end up trading things off here, of course, and then say knight in. But in principle, my next move will be bishop up and then castle. That's what we're aiming to do. We break that pin, go on the more cautious side. We can attack the bishop. Opponent can do the same thing, give themselves a square for later on. You can develop your rook. Lots of options here, but obviously just worry about our own moves. It's got an excellent connection there, so they're just thinking here. Yeah, plays rook across, logical, very good move. So I think we should just castle here. Then get the queen moved somewhere or other and complete our development. So we'll just get castled. And we could try and... The one risk of bringing the queen up somewhere is our bishop then might end up being not protected. Takes, and we could walk into tricks here. So we can try and deal with this first, or we can just move the queen. He's chosen to take, so I'll develop the bishop to a safe protected square. So you might play a move like knight in. We can always play, say, knight back, for example. We just got to watch out. Takes. We don't blunder a trick like knight takes because of this pin here. But right now it's protected, so it's playable. Pawn up is a good move in principle. Kick the bishop back, but if you keep the bishop on, it could become a target later on. So what's he done? He's played the queen to d3. How do I want to do this? I think rook across is a good principal move. So is pawn up to go a pawn further up. But rook seems logical. But then at some point you might play c3 when the knight has shifted. So I like the idea of just attacking this bishop and see whether you're going to trade or drop back. If trade, obviously I don't have to think about that. We'll just take back with the bishop. He has gone back over, so I think I'll develop the rook now. Knight back, you can drop back, and then it's slightly awkward trying to develop our bishop. So it's a good playable position for both of us, but it's pretty decent for white, this. So pretty decent. But this is why you've got to try and come up with a plan. Do you want to try and bring the knight in and try and get rid of our bishop? Because we've got the bishop here. It could become a thing further down the line. Now that move I'm not a fan of. It allows us to play a move like knight across and force the bishop off the board. Even if you go back, we can take. So we can do this, but this is why we've got to watch out for these tricks. But knight here takes. If you take there, we can't take with a pawn, but we can with a bishop. Knight in, we're still fine to drop our knight back to where we are now, and that would also cover as well. So I like the idea of getting rid of that bishop. So I'm going to play knight across. Again, if you're in any doubt, don't do pre-moves in rapid chess. Actually, let's cancel that. We're going to take back if he takes, but if you're in any doubt or you're not quite sure, don't pre-move just in case you see something as soon as you've made the move. Yeah, he's played knight in exactly what we expected. So we've got knight forward and knight back. Probably knight back. The one reason to keep the knight here might be if we're going to try something like this and put pressure on. Excuse me, but the bishop is fine. The bishop is protected. So queen up with a view to knight across could actually be a move here. Queen up. Then if we play across, what does he do? Logically, I guess you just go here. There's no trick to go in. But queen up makes him think a little bit. But it's not really a threat as such. So knight back might be a move. Or even rook across. I'm not sure what I want to play here. I could play knight here, but then where am I going to go? I'm not really going to come back here. Let's do it then. Let's play queen up. It's just more like a holding move I'm playing here to see what my opponent's going to do. If they take, I'll probably go with the pawn. Then we've got an isolated pawn, so you could go with the rook as well. We'll think about that. But it's not really a serious threat going here when you just play queen across, but we could trade. He's played queen across to go cautiously now. Pressure on the pawn so we can't waddle our rook off. Knight in, and everything is covered. Everything is fine. So knight back, but then my queen's a bit stuck. I could go here, hit the pawn off for a queen trade. Takes, but then this is loose. Might have made a mistake that move, but yeah, what am I doing? I could go knight here to come back now, actually, couldn't I? Knight in. What if you attack us? I guess I can still go here. This could be a blunder though if I go here, but you can't attack the knight with a pawn. We take with a check. But after we take with a check, are we trapped after king up? Knight in, pawn up. I mean, I can always drop back here. And say you attack us and the queen runs away. Takes. We're still kind of in the game. Queen up, you just lose here. So I like the idea of going knight forward, knight across. I'm not sure what I want to play here. Knight back. I could even sack a pawn. Just don't want to get my queen trapped. But I think knight back feels like the more principled move. But queen could come under attack here. Queen forward doesn't really seem like it's a threat, even though we attack a pawn. Here, takes. We isolate a pawn, but it feels more playable to me. That is not a move because of the knight. We'd like to get rid of this knight. Maybe even knight back here now. And say we're going to get rid of this one way, shape or form. Yeah, knight back, I like the look of that one. Never easy with black. You've got to just try and equalise the position and then hope for more if you manage to do that. Feels like we've got a pretty decent playable position, but still on the whole, very decent indeed for white here. But I'm going to play this knight back move. If you take, we take back. If you take here, probably the rook is probably the better move, just to try and work on this file. But you could bring a pawn to the centre and try and challenge for the centre control. So the pawn good as well, but you're just left with one isolated pawn. But they both look like perfectly playable moves. But either way, we're hoping to get rid of this knight now. Frees up a square for the queen. We can attack the pawn. Let's just see what white does. You could double your rooks up as well. I'll have to start playing a little bit quicker soon, mind, a little bit quicker, but well, we're both very close on the clock, aren't we? Just about 6 minutes each. Yeah, he has taken, so we don't need to think there. We just got the one move to take back. Well, he's offered the queen trade. I'm quite happy with a queen trade. I'm happy to play endgames with anyone and everyone. A little bit risky though, a little bit risky. So we could activate the rook first and attack this pawn. And if you take, we bring a pawn in over. That looks like a nice plan. I think I'm going to do that. Just got to be careful I don't let his queen in if I don't trade though. Actually, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? If I go up here, say comes in, we do have bishop up, but the rook might get trapped. That's a little bit awkward. If I take, you probably go with the rook. Rook up, double up. It's going to be harder to create something. But I still like playing endgame, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to start marching forward. Maybe rook here to put pressure on the pawn. Just hope I don't blunder some sort of tactic, but we're just going to pressure the pawn here, see if he defends it. Then try and march these pawns up and work on the queen side. But we're very close on the clock. Half of our time has gone now. So obviously he's got options to defend the pawn if he wishes. Or he can just sack the pawn and go for counterplay. Knight takes, I don't think is a thing right now. king feels safe. White's king feels safe as well, to be fair. But if you find a good square for the knight and then c3, that's a bit problematic, but you can't move the knight right now without c2 hanging. But equally, if you defend the pawn, there's nothing else to attack it with, so we'll just have to chuck these up the board. Maybe I've got rook across, double them up though, so the knight again still can't move. Yeah, maybe rook c8 might be our next move. He's played rook across the defense, so I'm going to double the rooks up. So if that knight moves, there's now 2 attacking here. I don't think we want to try a sacrifice here. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's any good, but we'll chuck the pawn forward. Oh, he's offered a draw now. We don't want to draw. We'll just chuck the pawn forward here. But he can't move this pawn without the knight falling. Okay, so he's played rook up to guard, but we can now come forward and kick the knight and try and grab a pawn, hopefully. And we're now a minute up on the clock. Could be vital later in the game. But where does that knight go? Have you got any good jumps? These squares are covered. They're all covered. And once we take here, we're threatening another pawn. But again, he might get active, he might do. But we're going there though, we take here and we attack the knight and the pawn. So it gives us an important tempo, attacking the knight. Now again, there is a potential here. So he's got a potential threat this time. But here, I can go here, check, and I'll lose my bishop. Okay, so we need to think about this. We could just take a pawn and just not worry about this and double up, I guess. I suspect I should go here, but I'm not sure. Here, up. He's still got knight in, but I've got king up. Yeah, I like the look of that. I'm going to go here, and then if knight in, I'll just step up and guard the bishop. Feels okay. That's exactly what he's played, so I think we want to attack the knight, keep our pawn, if knight in here, and protect. If he gets a rook here though, there's a threat to take here, so not without a little bit of risk. Okay, but here we guard our bishop, but we do actually attack the knight, so he doesn't have a move to play rook across this move without losing the knight. Oh, he's gone back over to attack the pawn, so can we sack that pawn safely? Take, knight takes, rook up. Or we can check first, kick the king, then rook here. That might just win this pawn straight away. Here, knight takes. There's no risk coming through. So I think we should take here. If knight takes, we can check up and maybe take here. It's just whether we try and keep this pawn or not. He's taken. So I'm going to check. I can take or I can double up, but it makes sense to me to just take, I think. It does concede this, but here, if you come across, I think we just double up. Or do we? Do we just double up immediately? I guess you can just defend, can't you? Or just push the pawns. I think it makes sense to take. Can we get this knight? I don't see that, but we can always trade off here, so there's no immediate risk to us. But he's played knight back over and attacked our rook, logical. So can we come back? I still can't push. I could go here threatening a checkmate. Actually, that looks nice. That threatens a checkmate. Here, I think we're happy to trade a rook, and then we'll go behind the pawn and try and push, I think. Just got to be a little bit careful because we've allowed him this outside pawn. You imagine if this pawn comes along, he could create an outside pass pawn. So not without risk, but you've got to watch this checkmate threat first. So move this rook. So that's what he's done. So here, there's no other trick, is there? There's no other trick for us. What about rook here? Attacks the knight and then pressure the pawn like this. Check, you just go here and it looks like a very nice square here. I guess you could do that. And I'm not going anywhere, am I? Here you can take, so that's nothing. I can go here. I guess I'll just push it here. Oh, what about here to push then? Let's do that. That looks nice. Let's try and just push our pawn. The rooks are here waiting for it, so let's try and push. Or the clock, we're both under 3 minutes now. Got to start really paying attention to the clock. So knight here, there isn't a check here. Everything looks fine. So I think we just push the pawn and we try and aim for a new queen. Bishop covers this. He might sack it to get the pawn, in which case that's fine, and we'll just have to quicken up a little bit. But we're very close to a push and a push. Rook here might still be a move. Oh, he's just resigned. He's had enough of that one. He's put in a really good effort on. A very good game there, I thought. Let's pause so we don't accidentally start another game. Well, that was a good, enjoyable game. Okay, it's gone through the analyzer already. So we have there the move time. So let's see the analyzer. 95 against 89. Yeah, I knew he was playing well. 89 on the accuracy. Very good. So nothing being flagged for either of us in all the opening moves. It's still all completely level here, as you can see, just completely level. He played this really, really well, and we just come up shortly to build a slight advantage. So it was good to trade the queen, it was good to go into this end game, but we're still just level here. You can see the blunder here. So a rook up there was a blunder, so he should have played this rook across instead, and we're marginally better, 1.5, but that's what he should have done. And we're just basically trying to blast our way through now and then hopefully come up with some sort of plan to convert. He should have dropped his rook back there instead of taking the pawn. It lets our rook in. We grab a pawn. We go after that potential mate threat. And then we just try and promote our pawn. In this position, it's now 4.1 better winning. So let's see what the line was. Yeah, the best move here looks like take the pawn and give up a rook for a bishop and a pawn. And then it's still, I guess, we've got 2 rooks against rook and knight, and we're only 1 extra pawn up. That's playable, but it's still 4.4 for us. But that was the best move. So unlucky there, but a really good effort. Well done.